Yo, I'm here to do a review on the movie The Irishman because I'm a gangster and I know gangster movies more than anyone. I mean, my family's been in the gangster business for like 3 years, maybe 4.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing here?
Did you say you're a gangster?
No, man, I'm a real gangster. I got the bling bling.
I don't need gold chains to wreck you.
You know what? I could pop you in the head right now. Nobody would care. Oh, hold on. Yo, what's up? What do you mean the unions came and took my house? What do you mean everybody I know is dead?
Oh, man. Oh, boy. So uncivilized.
The Irishman. We finally get the gangster movie we've been wanting. We get Robert De Niro, we get Al Pacino, we get Joe Pesci all together in the same movie, directed by Martin Scorsese. What could possibly go wrong? Well, pretty much everything. I want to start this review off by saying that Martin Scorsese is my favorite director. Without Taxi Driver, I would probably not be in the film industry. That movie just was so special to me, and it really turned on the side of my brain that likes movies and understands them and wants to do them. So Martin Scorsese's been a huge influence in my life. Goodfellas is flawless, it's fantastic. The Departed is in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. So he is a master of making good gangster movies. However, I am struggling to find anything positive to say about The Irishman. I'm just gonna start with the opening shot of the movie. Go back and watch it, and don't tell me that that shot is ridiculously shaky for no reason. I'm not kidding. They had obviously wearing a Steadicam, not even a gimbal. Boop, the camera does this as it's moving. I'm like, really? And okay, if that's the effect you want, it was too much. And then it gets up to Robert De Niro, it pushes in on him, and it's about this in focus right here. That's about as in focus as it looks. What? Just pull focus or redo the take. Yes, it was a long take and they probably were like, well, that's the best acting performance, and Robert De Niro was a producer on it, so he was probably like, oh, I want that performance, it's the best. But yet, it doesn't really work because it's out of focus, and so many things in this movie bothered me. This is really gonna be more of a rant than a movie review because I honestly don't even know what the movie's about. It's just so convoluted and long and So I like long, slow movies. I love The Godfather. I love Godfather Part 2. I love Once Upon a Time in America, which is a 4-hour movie. Okay, these movies know how to pace it right because they have a story that is compelling to get you there. However, The Irishman, man, it's kind of about like Robert De Niro is a guy, and I honestly don't even remember all their names at this point. I just know Jimmy, and that's about it. I should probably look that up. Robert De Niro plays a guy named Frank who kind of gets into the union / gangster / mafia world and meets up with Jimmy Hoffa, and it's just kind of about how unions are run. And actually, I guess that would be kind of the more good thing they did in the movie was they kind of made it so unions, you're sitting there going, oh, I can see now why unions would be abusing power or why they work and why some unions don't. Well, this kind of explains a lot of that. Unfortunately, there is one huge glaring problem. The de-aging in this movie was done completely wrong. I have a few solutions to that. First off, why? Why are you de-aging these guys? They're past their prime. They no longer act like they did when they were young, and giving a whole movie's performance while looking young doesn't work. There's many shots in the movie where De Niro's walking and he kind of walks like this. Like an old person. Like he doesn't bend his back right. It's obvious that he's like 75 years old or however old he is. I could not get past that. I'm like, it's a young-ish face, which he's supposed to be like 30s, and he looks like he's like 50. Even with the de-aging. So even the de-aging wasn't enough, and it wasn't nearly as good as they did for Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel. That was much better de-aging. This de-aging isn't even believable. I see it and I go, this looks like a really good video game cutscene. And that's about it. Like, it's bad. I think there's a few moments where it's glaringly bad because there's like this plastic look on half the face, and So therefore, I didn't care about the actors. I was like, I'm just watching an old De Niro and an old Pacino and a really old Joe Pesci just kind of like talk like they're supposed to be young, but they don't actually deliver dialogue like they're young anymore. Everything about it's so weird. Here's the solution. Call up David Fincher and be like, hey, yo, you know how you did that Social Network movie and you had the same actor play two guys and you just took his face and put it on a different actor? Yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah, we're going to de-age De Niro, but we're going to put his old face, which is now looking young, on a young actor. So he moves and acts like a young person. Not, I'm a 75-year-old guy that's supposed to be like intimidating and walk into a store. And there's a scene where he's like kicking a guy on the ground. And it's so bad because he can't even like do his kick stunt anymore because he's like 75. That whole thing I think is a gimmick and it needed to go away and it was just horribly done. And I think it has to do with the fact that I don't think Martin Scorsese understands technology. I think he wants to get into it, but just doesn't understand it. He did the same thing with Hugo. He kept complaining when they were shooting that it was out of focus. They're like, no, it's just the 3D because we're shooting with two cameras. You gotta wear the glasses to make it look right or look through the right monitor. And he just couldn't get that in his head. I'm like, and now you're shooting a movie with de-aging? Like, there's better technology. Like, they keep acting like this is a great feat of visual effects. I'm like, no, it's not. It's worse than what Disney did already. And this movie took, it's like, I think it was $90 million over budget because they didn't understand this technology. So they're shooting with I don't remember, a red or an Arri maybe, right in the center. And to the sides, they have Arri minis as reference cameras. No wonder this went out of budget. Because that's insane. Like, they didn't budget for that because they didn't know how to use the technology, and it ruined the movie. Well, no, that wasn't the only thing that ruined it, but it didn't help the movie. The movie also really struggled because it didn't have a cohesive story going through the whole thing. I legitimately stopped watching halfway through, went to bed, and watched it the next day. I never, ever do that. I always finish a movie or quit and then restart it the next day. I don't ever just stop and come back. I did that, and I didn't care because I legitimately didn't get out of the flow when I went to bed and came back the next day. I was like, all right, play, let's get through this thing. Like, that's what I was thinking the whole time was, when is this gonna be over? Because this is insane. Some moments in there that I think could have been really good, or maybe even were pretty good, but it was just so full of just wasted time and just shots of De Niro and Pacino doing things. And you're like, this is just to show off these guys. Like, fix the story. I'm sure there's other problems with the movie, but those were my biggest issues, which is a real bummer because I think Martin Scorsese's done as a director. Some people are calling this his masterpiece. Like this is some great movie. This is by far my most disappointing movie of last year. I was shocked it was nominated for Best Visual Effects. Like, seriously, go watch that movie and pay attention to the VFX and you're gonna be like, yeah, these aren't actually that good. And then you start seeing them old and gross and I miss the time of good gangsters. I don't honestly think we've had a good gangster movie in the 2000s. I think we've had some really good movies like The Departed, not a gangster movie. We've had a few tries, but nothing has gotten close to the excellence that was Goodfellas. I really didn't want to just rant about this movie because Martin Scorsese is my favorite, and I did want to like this movie. I went in going, okay, I am excited, and it just wasn't good. I know one of my viewers saw it and put it on as his number 3 best movie of the year. If you loved it, that's fine. I'm glad you liked it, but I could not get past the technology barrier that was this horrible de-aging thing that went on. That's my 2 cents on The Irishman. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you haven't seen it, I would pass. It's 3 hours long. It's just too long. It's not a concise story. The characters you don't really care about because you've seen them all before, and they're not as good. If you want more reviews like this, please consider subscribing. Share this with your friends if you think they would enjoy it. Leave a comment below. What is your favorite gangster movie of all time? You can define that how you want. I'm going to say my favorite is probably Goodfellas. It's hard, but based on the parameters that you want to set, pick your favorite gangster movie. Tell me why. I do have a second channel where I do some product video shoots that I do, totally unrelated to movies. This is just like my commercial side of things. Check that out. I'll leave the link right here at the end of the video. Click on that if you want to check out some stuff like this. All right, but I'm not gonna show you anymore. So go over there, click that, follow that. I'm gonna come out with another video soon on that. So till next time, peace.